Welcome to Sounds of the Unknown, where we delve into the eerie, the mysterious, and the unexplained. Today we uncover the chilling tale of the Hexham Heads, two small stone artifacts unearthed in a quiet English town. What started as a simple backyard discovery in the 1970s quickly spiraled into a story of supernatural encounters, ancient curses, and unexplained phenomena. Were these carved faces relics of a forgotten Celtic ritual, or modern hoaxes that awakened something dark and powerful? Join us as we explore the haunting history and enduring enigma of the Hexham Heads, a story that blurs the lines between folklore and reality. In the hushed streets of Hexham, a market town in Northumberland, two small stone objects surfaced from the dark soil. They were no larger than a child's fist. They seemed crude at first, like fragments of a lost era or odd souvenirs from a forgotten craft shop. Yet there was something about these two carved heads that stirred the imagination. Maybe it was the primitive faces etched into the stone. Maybe it was the quiet energy they carried. Locals whispered about them in pubs and living rooms. They shook their heads in wonder and at times apprehension. Few suspected that these miniature artifacts would ignite wild stories and inspire debates about folklore, archaeology, and the veil between worlds. But the Hexham Heads carry a weight that defies their size. Today we explore their story, how they emerged from a suburban garden, passed through curious hands, and left behind a trail of eerie legends. This isn't just a tale of stones. It's a glimpse at how ordinary life collides with the mystical. It's a reminder that sometimes the strangest secrets hide in plain sight. So settle in and let the Hexham Heads guide us to a realm where history, myth, and lingering questions converge. It was 1971 when the first of the Hexham Heads turned up on the property of the Robson family. The two Robson boys, Colin and Leslie, stumbled upon strange lumps in their backyard. These lumps looked like carved faces. Their neighbours gawked at the find. This wasn't a region short on history. Romans once walked these roads, and medieval battles had scarred the countryside. Old structures loomed nearby, vestiges of an earlier time, so discovering curious stones was surprising, yet not impossible. Still, these particular heads struck a chord. Their features were rough but deliberate. One had a faintly masculine face, with a slanted expression. The other seemed more rounded, with childlike traits. Folks wondered, were these remnants of an ancient culture, or modern hoaxes? The boys claimed they'd found them near a garden hedge. Nobody knew how long they'd lain there untouched. Some assumed these stones must be Celtic or Roman. Others joked that they were worthless lumps made by a bored student. But soon, reports of odd happenings took hold of local chatter. People spoke of rattling sounds, mysterious footsteps, and a presence that lurked beyond closed doors. The Hexham Heads had arrived, and things would never be the same again. Shortly after their discovery, the Heads seemed to spark uncanny events. At times, the Robson family said they felt cold drafts move across the house. Doors opened on their own. Objects shifted positions, lights flickered. A sense of unease crept in. Neighbors dismissed these stories as imagination. But then, one night, a different household encountered something disturbing. The Dodd family, who lived nearby, reported seeing a half-man, half-beast prowling the street. It darted past windows, hunched and predatory. They saw a figure more animal than human, or so they claimed. News of this alleged creature spread fast. Did these stone heads unlock an ancient guardian, or did they rouse supernatural forces best left dormant? Skeptics rolled their eyes, but in living rooms the story grew tentacles. Children pressed themselves to bedroom windows, scanning moonlit roads for a monstrous silhouette. Parents double-checked locks. Whispers of curses and werewolves danced at the edges of conversation. Even those who shrugged at superstition felt uneasy. Something about those carved faces unsettled them. They didn't belong in quiet Hexham. Whether the heads themselves caused these phenomena or not, a strange chill seeped into everyday life. Skeptic or believer, few could ignore it. Eventually, the Hexham Heads passed from the Robson household into the care of other observers. The most notable among them was Dr. Anne Ross, a respected Celtic scholar. Her background in archaeology and anthropology made her an ideal person to evaluate these unusual artifacts. She examined the carving style, the composition of the stone, and the design of the faces. Dr. Ross believed these heads might have ancient Celtic origins, possibly connected to ritual practices. She proposed that they could be fertility symbols or protective tokens used by early tribes. Yet her professional curiosity soon mingled with personal distress. While the heads resided under her roof, she experienced unsettling incidents. She reported witnessing a large, wolf-like figure in her hallway. It appeared, then vanished. She felt a presence near her bed at night. Doors creaked in the hallway, though no one was there. The impact on her was profound. Dr. Ross, who approached these topics with academic rigor, found herself grappling with events that defied explanation. Others dismissed her claims. They said she was only tired, perhaps overworked. But she stood by her experiences. In her view, the Hexham Heads contained an energy that was neither benign nor easily dismissed. Not everyone agreed with Dr. Ross's conclusions. A man named Desmond Craigie stepped forward and claimed he had made the heads in the 1950s. According to him, they were nothing more than modern souvenirs carved from concrete. He said he had crafted them for his daughter, and that they couldn't be older than a few decades. This revelation clashed with the more romantic visions of Celtic relics. If Craigie's story was true, then the elaborate speculation about ancient roots had no basis. Many commentators felt disappointed. They had envisioned these heads as messengers from a primordial past. Historians and folklore enthusiasts saw them as keys to unlock old mysteries. But if they were simply made in someone's garage, then all the talk of curses or werewolves might be nonsense. Or was it? Even if the heads were modern, the uncanny experiences remained. Had the community projected its fears onto these objects? Or did something else lurk in that land, using the heads as catalysts? Craigie's claims added another layer to the puzzle. Now, two narratives collided, one that painted the heads as ancient relics, and one that viewed them as recent creations. In the meantime, stories of strange sightings continued. Press outlets got wind of the story. Journalists wrote pieces about the Hexham Heads, recounting claims of poltergeist-like activity, ghostly apparitions, and shape-shifting figures. Some labeled the phenomenon a hoax, others fixated on the notion of a centuries-old curse. The media attention fueled public fascination. Curious visitors came to Hexham, hoping to glimpse the famous heads or sense the strange aura. Local historians weighed in, trying to separate fact from fiction. The artifacts themselves bounced between various hands, sometimes stored in boxes, sometimes displayed for testing. Researchers measured their dimensions and studied their composition. They debated whether the materials matched Celtic craftsmanship or modern building supplies. The swirl of discussion left townsfolk split. Some felt proud that their town had gained attention. Others felt embarrassed by the spectacle. Still others were unnerved. Whenever there's talk of hidden forces or unsettled spirits, people respond in different ways. Some see a chance to prove that our world holds wonders. Others worry about inviting trouble, and a few see an opening for profit. In Hexham, the story of these little carved faces touched all those chords. They stirred excitement and fear, wonder and skepticism, curiosity and caution. Time passed, but the Hexham Heads did not fade into obscurity. Rumours circulated that the heads vanished. Some said they were lost or misplaced. Others believed they'd been locked away by an unnamed collector who feared their power. Certain sources claimed at least one head travelled to various academic institutions for analysis, only to disappear again. The heads seemed to slip through the cracks of documented history, leaving a void that inspired fresh speculation. The story acquired a life of its own, morphing into local legend. A few folks insisted that the heads had returned to Hexham soil, reburied by unknown hands. Others asserted that they had gone overseas. The lack of concrete evidence drew new believers who found meaning in the heads' elusive nature. People who felt drawn to folklore or the occult saw them as catalysts for hidden energies. Conspiracy theorists speculated about government involvement. Ghost hunters, drawn by the promise of supernatural activity, roamed the area with cameras and recorders, hoping to capture proof of something beyond normal explanation. The heads became icons of the unexplained, haunting the edges of rational inquiry. With their whereabouts uncertain, the line between fact and fiction blurred further. Researchers have tried to make sense of the paranormal claims linked to the Hexham Heads. Some experts propose a phenomenon known as the power of suggestion. In this view, the townspeople's expectations and fears fed into each other. When the heads appeared, a seed of mystery was planted. Then every odd noise or fleeting shadow gained supernatural significance. Others link the sightings of wolf-like figures to local folklore. Northumberland is steeped in myths, from Celtic spirits to medieval legends. Perhaps the heads, with their symbolic faces, triggered cultural memories. Dr. Ross's testimony remains a touchstone in discussions, given her credibility as a scholar. She believed there was something genuinely uncanny about these artifacts. That stance, along with Craigie's contradictory account, creates tension. On the scientific side, tests on the heads suggested modern materials, yet the chain of custody for the heads was inconsistent. No single definitive analysis seems to have closed the book. Every time someone thinks the story is over, new anecdotes resurface. A homeowner mentions hearing strange footsteps. A traveller claims to have glimpsed the heads in a private collection. The legend continues to mutate, crossing boundaries between psychology, archaeology, folklore, and the uncharted corners of belief. In the broader context of unexplained artifacts, the Hexham Heads stand as a lesson in how stories take shape. A simple discovery can blossom into a legend when questions go unanswered. People by nature weave tales to explain the unknown. These heads arrived at a time when interest in the paranormal was growing. Television programs explored psychic phenomena. Books about hauntings sold well. Talk of cryptids and UFOs found receptive audiences. The Heads tapped into that cultural moment. They hinted at a hidden dimension. They suggested that an innocent garden could harbor relics that break open the neat boundaries of modern life. The sightings and ghostly accounts added drama. Soon, you had a full-blown saga. One side demanded scientific proof. The other insisted on the intangible. Yet even those who wanted scientific certainty found themselves chasing illusions. Where did the Heads actually come from? Why did so many unrelated people report bizarre experiences? The story lingered, sliding between reality and rumor. In coffee shops, in academic papers, in casual conversations, the Hexham Heads popped up. They became more than lumps of stone. They became symbols of a threshold between daily routine and the extraordinary. They reminded people that the line between fact and myth is never fixed. As we conclude our journey, we stand at the crossroads of mystery and skepticism. The Hexham Heads invite us to ask deeper questions about the nature of belief. Their saga is woven from local legends, personal testimonies, academic study and rumor. Are they genuine relics of an ancient Celtic tradition, or are they modern creations that sparked collective visions of the unknown? Did they trigger poltergeist-like events? Or did the power of suggestion fan mundane coincidences into eerie happenings? Ultimately, each person draws their own conclusions. Some see a perfect example of folklore in action. Others see a cautionary tale about how curiosity can spiral into hysteria. Still others hold on to the dream that yes, something supernatural touched Hexham, leaving footprints in the night. Perhaps the truth lies in the space between these possibilities. For the people who lived through the alleged disturbances, the experience felt real. For those who examined the Heads under microscopes, the results seemed unremarkable. For the rest of us, the story remains open-ended, waiting for a final piece of evidence that may never come. Yet that ambiguity, that ability to resist a neat resolution, is part of the Hexham Heads' enduring grip on our imagination. We stand at the edge of reason, peering into the darkness, uncertain whether we see our own shadows or something else entirely. The legend continues, spiraling through time, bridging folklore and fact, and reminding us that even the smallest stones can stir colossal wonders in the human soul. The story of the Hexham Heads lingers, a haunting blend of mystery, folklore and fear. Whether ancient relics or simple curiosities, they remind us of the power of the unknown to captivate and unsettle. If you love exploring eerie tales like this, don't forget to subscribe to Sounds of the Unknown for more chilling stories and unsolved mysteries. Until next time, stay curious and keep listening to the whispers of the unknown.